Surrey voters are going to determine who sits in the mayor's chair in little more than 2 weeks. And to make sure you're up to date on the people working to win that job, all this week we're bringing you in-depth interviews with the major candidates. Our Justin McElroy sat down with Bruce Haynes recently. Justin, what did you ask him?
Dan, it's been a busy 4 months for Bruce Haynes. Once the president of the Surrey Board of Trade, he's a two-term councillor that lately quit the Surrey First party and then convinced 2 other councillors to join him for a new party he's formed, Surrey Integrity Now, that's contesting this election for the first time. We talked over the course of 15-20 minutes about some of the big issues in this campaign, LRT, RCMP, why he's not making big promises on those, unlike his rivals, and why the Bruce Haynes of Surrey Integrity Now is different than the Bruce Haynes of Surrey First.
Well, because I have a vision for this city that I don't believe any of the other mayoral candidates have. And I want to do things in an open and transparent way. And I think that's really critical for our city at this juncture going forward into the future. I really think that we need to be as open and as transparent and communicative as we possibly can be with the community. And I haven't been feeling that for some time. And that's why I decided to leave Surrey First and start my own party.
I suppose the question is, if you haven't been feeling that way for some time, why didn't you speak out sooner?
Well, I was speaking out internally and hoping that things might change. As I said, I really enjoyed the first 3 years that I was on council with Diane Watts as the mayor, and things haven't been the same for me in the last 4 years. And I was hoping to be able to make some changes internally, and was speaking to my colleagues internally, but realized that simply wasn't the way the ship was going, and so I decided to break away and do my own thing.
You've come out with a proposal to pause LRT. The money is committed, the partnerships are there. Pausing would drive up the cost, and over the last year or 4 years as this has been going on, you haven't publicly said, look, maybe we should look at other options. So why the change now? Well,
I've been looking at it very closely with not only with my colleagues, but with the community, and the pushback from the community is very, very strong and very, very loud. It seems to me that there's a vast majority of people in Surrey that simply don't want LRT. They would prefer SkyTrain. And when you look at it from a regional perspective, and that's the lens that I want to bring to this, is looking at this regionally. There's $1.6 billion of funding that's been approved and is on the table. I'm not willing to let that funding just slip through our hands, so to speak. But I want to ensure that the technology we choose is the right one.
Are you going to be upfront with the voters, though, that could mean an increase in cost no matter what is chosen?
Well, absolutely. You know, we've been talking about additional rapid transit in Surrey since the Expo line was built in 1986. And when we look at connecting the region, when we look at connecting Langley, and it doesn't take much of a crystal ball to think, well, another phase would be connecting Abbotsford and the Abbotsford Airport to Langley and so on. And as we look at the extension of rapid transit in the region, we simply can't be doing it with cars at grade.
On policing issues, of the 3 main candidates, you're the only one not calling for either a referendum for an independent police force or outright saying you're going to move towards that. Why not?
Really, moving to a municipal police force is not nearly as simple as some would have you believe. It would take 2 years written notice, first of all, to start to move away from the RCMP model, and then there would be a 4 to 5 year transitional plan after that. So we're looking at 6 to 7 years to transition from the RCMP to a municipal force. And I think the people of Surrey deserve solutions much sooner than that. But if you look at Abbotsford this year, for instance, Abbotsford has had more gang-related homicides than Surrey has. They're a much smaller community, and they have a municipal force.
It's curious because on the 2 big issues of independent police force and LRT, your 2 main rivals have pretty clear positions that they've staked out. And you've said you're going to study it more once you go in office. I guess, what do you say to voters who might be reluctant to commit to you because they don't know where ultimately you'll land on those issues?
Well, I think I'm pretty clear, but let me be even more clear. I am not going to dumb down these very complex issues to one-line sound bites to try and get votes. Saying that I'm going to get rid of the RCMP and start a municipal force the day I'm in, it does not begin to look at that equation in any kind of depth. And to the LRT issue, no mayor, whomever is elected on October 20th, can just arbitrarily change technologies. That just can't happen.
And you don't want to overpromise to people.
Well, I think that's, so many politicians overpromise, and you wonder why people don't have any faith in politicians. I think we have to look at this practically, and we have to look at solutions that are real for this city and are going to last for the next 20, 30, and 50 years. And these are very big, complex issues, and we have to work at things together.
Bruce, thanks very much.
Thank you, Justin.